Right? Yeah.
Only have half as much.
How are you?
Half as age as me, what you think? I'm not happy. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I
Well, I need to get my.
Okay, there we go. Take the number.
I'm just looking at the way to.
We have a sign-in sheet if you want to testify. You don't have to.
Okay.
You're wanting to speak, you're welcome to.
Sure.
In favor, neutral, or opposition?
In favor?
In favor. Okay. In fact, I can just, you want to give me your name, I'll add you to the list.
My name is Debbie Hundoble, Hundoble.
D-O-B-L. Okay. And you're going to testify, Debbie?
I'm happy to, if I need to, sure.
Okay, well, we'll just
You don't
mark
have
you there.
to.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Thanks.
Okay. So, oh, you can use the so they don't, but on the phone. Okay, how about that?
How about?
Okay, and I think I heard, oh, it's commissioners that are getting on.
Yep. Oh, there's Dan.
Dan,
Hi, Dan.
and.
Hello.
And our friend live stream.
I like live. It's much better than a dead stream.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon. It is Thursday, August 27th. All three commissioners are in the commissioners' meeting room. Monica Reeves is doing the deputy clerk duties for us. Tricia Nielsen, who is the director of the DSD department for Canyon County, is here. And we have others here. We have on the agenda a public hearing, and that is to consider a request by Dennis Clark for approval of a preliminary plot, including irrigation and drainage plan for Northern Pintail Reserve subdivision, and that is case number SD 2020-0007. And we have Dan Lister is with us. He's WebExed in. This is on WebEx. And let me see, and that would be all. So, Dan, I guess without, oh, we got to swear people in. Oh, gosh, I just about forgot. Okay, and this is who I have. I have Brent Orton, TJ Wellard, Debbie Hundoble. The other does not wish to speak. So, those of you, I called your name, we'll swear you in.
Tricia Nielsen, TJ Wellard, Brent Orton, Debbie Hundoble, and Dan Lister. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Okay. Now, Dan, you're on.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Dan Lister, Planner 2 for Development Services. Before you today is a request for a preliminary plat for Northern Pintail Reserve subdivision. On the screen, as you can see, is about a 20.62 acre lot. This was rezoned back in 2018 to an R1 zone. For you is the Northern Pintail Reserve subdivision. Water and sewer would be provided through septic systems and wells. The average lot size is 1.77 acres. We're looking at 10 lots. All except for lot 2 have slopes over 15%. Plat note number 11 prohibits development on slopes over 15%, so there'll be no development on in those areas. Lots 6, 7, and 8, as you can see on the map there, do have a future or proposed 75-foot wide natural gas pipeline easement that bisects those properties. However, there's plenty of area for development on those properties without encroaching into that area. Irrigation will be provided to the lots. They do have water rights, and they propose pressurized irrigation. The irrigation stubs would be located along Meadow Park Street's road up above there, as you can see. Drainage runoff will be maintained within the subdivision. Drainage from the Meadow Park Street will be routed to the stormwater retention ponds at the bottom of lots 1, 3, and 4. Public roads, so the subdivision will be served by the continuation of Meadow Park Street, which is a proposed collector shown on the functional class map, and it stubs to the east. So Canyon Highway District required a certain type of access spacing requirements. So in this case, they couldn't meet those, so they added shared access points. Lots 9 and 10 would have shared access. Lots 7 and 8 the same. And as you can see, they're pinpointed on the map or the plat. Lots 1 through 3 will require a 30-foot wide access easement to share. Canyon Development Services has already approved the reduction to those easements from 60 to 30 feet. Canyon Highway District number 4 does not oppose this subject to conditions. Conditions include public right-of-way dedication, access restrictions such as the shared access points, and no direct access to Duff Lane, frontage improvements along Meadow Park Street. So let's see, what else do I have? So before you is as part of your decision, the code states that you consider the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation and also the standards we used. The application was reviewed by staff and by the county engineer, Keller Associates, and found to be in compliance with Canyon County Code. On July 1st, 2020, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the plat, subject to the conditions shown on the screen. Staff applied standard conditions that we applied to most of the subdivisions of this type. The last, let's see here, 3 conditions were applied by the Planning and Zoning Commission that the applicant shall clearly delineate the boundaries of the no-build area where slopes exceed 15% on the construction plans and final plat. No structure shall be allowed within the no-build area. Storm drain and irrigation shall be piped separately through lots 1, 2, and 3. And storm drain systems, piping, and retention ponds shall be maintained by the established HOA or maintenance agreement through a maintenance agreement. So those are the conditions recommended. As you know, a late exhibit did come in to the board just an hour ago. It's just a request to change the name from Northern Pintail to Meadow Bluff Estates. Staff did review that with our addressing person, and they didn't find that to be a conflict with the change of that name. With that, staff, it concludes my presentation and open for questions.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you, Dan, and it has to do with plat note 10, where no permanent structure can be located closer than 70 feet to any section or borderline. So help me out just a little bit, and I'm concerned or looking at lot 7 because it already has the shared access, and then it's got that natural gas line bisecting the property. So what's the total amount of buildable square feet on that? What was the size of the lot on that bit?
Yeah, it's a 1.65 acre lot.
But the gray area is no build, right?
Correct.
Okay. And that looks like it takes up half of it. So that would give it.
Right, and the property has a 10-foot side setback and a 20-foot front setback from the easement.
Okay, so it looks like the northeast, and it creates a perfect triangle there. I'm just trying to figure out what the size is for the buildable space that they have when you take out the requirements for the road easement, the gray area for the 15% slope, and the gas pipeline.
Right. I believe TJ can answer that for you. I don't have the exact numbers. As for the 70-foot setback, that's a required plat note you have to put on when it's near a section line and quarter section line. However, the code also allows a waiver of those requirements to be reviewed by the Highway District at the time of building permit submittal.
So it's a Highway District regulation that we put on the plat, and then the only people that can waive that. Trish, and the reason I'm having some trouble with this is because we've just been through an issue with a person that bought a piece of ground, and there's a plat note on there. So now I'm looking at the plat notes and what that effective really means?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Van Deen, it's actually in the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
We have section line setbacks, where future roadways are anticipated. And so it's become kind of the standard setback that then the highway district reviews, and they do typically waive it. In this case, I believe the public road, called Middle Park Street, is, I believe Dan can correct me, or TJ, I think that's on the quarter section line. They would typically waive that setback, but its origin is in the zoning ordinance.
Okay, and I'm just trying to figure out, I know that's gonna be reviewed, but the rest of them look like they have space, but this one where it's got some strikes against it, there's three things happening on that particular lot that was problematic. Maybe TJ can help us.
Commissioner Dale, did you have something?
No, I just, they'll figure it out. There's room to build a house there. Figure it out.
Any other questions for Dan? Okay. TJ Wellard. Name and address, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. TJ Wellard, 17842 Sand Hollow Road, Caldwell, Idaho, 82607. Thank you for your time today, Commissioners. Always happy to be back here.
And we're always happy to see you.
So Dan pretty much thoroughly covered everything. What this development is presenting. It's mostly hillside, a little bit flat on top. It's not farmable ground. It's been through the rezone process, and we platted it to make very good, acceptable view lots with plenty of space. Obviously, we don't want people building on hillsides. I don't think anyone would want to build on that particular hillside, but that's why we restricted that. There's plenty of space up top for houses to be built. It will be served by pressurized irrigation and a public road and individual wells and septics that will be approved by Southwest District Health. The only changes that we would like to see to the conditions of approval, condition 1A, and I'm going to let Mr. Orton address this specifically because he's the brains and he knows all about these. So he's going to talk to you about condition 1A. The condition I want to address is condition 10. We are proposing to pipe the storm drainage water. The irrigation that we were supposed to deal with is the property to the north. They were concerned about where irrigation water would go if they ever flood irrigated again. And currently, or historically, not currently, the property is sprinkle irrigated, so there's no irrigation overflow. Historically, flood irrigation has come off that property and gone down the draw between lots 1, 2, and 3. So we would ask that condition 10 be changed to where storm drainage will be piped, that irrigation will continue to flow how it has naturally down that draw. The easements are already in place for that. We've established the lot lines down that draw on purpose. So it will have to be piped from the north side of the road to the south side of the road, but beyond that, we don't want to have two pipes separate when there is no irrigation overflow currently, and if they went back to flood irrigating, they don't have very good use of their water in that soil type. So we would ask that condition 10 be altered so that just the storm drainage will be piped down to the storm pond, so we can keep those separate. Other than those issues, I can stand for any questions.
I think, Madam Chair, I think you answered the one I was going to ask, and that's about that same drainage plan that you're suggesting would take care of the storm drainage off the road as well, and pull it down there between those lots and that same thing?
Madam Chairman, Commissioner Dale, yes, that's correct. So we are dealing with the stormwater coming off the road, and it will come down that draw, and then we have a retention pond down the south side of those lots 1, 3, and 4.
It seems like I remember when we approved this, that there at the bottom of that hill, there is it's either a creek or a drain or something that runs down there. Is that right?
You are correct. There's an existing unregulated drain at the bottom of that hill.
Right. Okay. That's right. Okay. Yeah. And that's where the water's going to go.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
And so TJ, I had this backwards. I had these places to build at the bottom, but they're actually up high, and then this slope drops away.
Yes, Madam Chairman, Commissioner MB, that's correct. The the north side of the lots is where all the building will take place, yes.
Okay. And that's what I figured. I just, for some reason, I had it being a lower elevation and then like a hill behind it. But thank you.
Yes, and we verified that there's plenty of building space on each one of the lots for a decent sized home.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because the land is, there's a hill and everything, what's the view?
Madam Chairman, so the view is actually of the entire valley. This is up on the, kind of the bench north of Middleton, so you're kind of seeing the entire valley. I mean, you can see all the way around.
Okay, wow, nice.
To the Waihees.
And what is it? So it's Duff Lane and then this is a new street, correct? Meadow Park?
You are correct. Meadow Park Street it actually doesn't follow that core section line anywhere nearby, but they have plans for it too, so.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay. Anything more for TJ? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Brent Orton.
My name is Brent Orton, and my address is 17338 Sunnydale Place in Caldwell, and I have been sworn in. Thank you for having us. So this is, you probably know that I have a moonlighting business, and Orton Engineering is what it's called, and so I get to help with some of these projects, and it's been a good project to work on, and Dennis has been very good to work with. He's been very sensitive to his neighbors' needs, wanting to put this property to good use, but also not. He promised his neighbors early on that they keep this rural residential. And we worked with City of Middleton early on. They were interested in a section, they have master plan, and they have Meadow Park, I think, with the Highway District plan for that to be a collector road. And so that's the reason you see those shared access points is so that we don't overload that road with excessive driveways. And we were able to meet with the Highway District early on. Middleton was very determined that we needed to build their standard section, and the Highway District was, we asked for permission to build something reduced just because this number of lots is very difficult to make this number of lots pay for that full urban section and an 8-foot pathway and things. So the Highway District moderated that to in a kind of an unusual thing, but they did a preliminary plat approval for us and moderated that section to a wider asphalt section. So it's, if memory serves, it's 22 feet of asphalt, a 4-foot shoulder instead of a 2-foot shoulder, and then still building that 8-foot asphalt pathway. So it should accomplish those things and be pretty. We also designed the grading of that so that it can easily be adapted to the urban section when Middleton does grow to that point. So it should be harmonious at that time. We actually designed it with that section to show that it would work. And then the other thing that Canyon Highway District would like to modify the vertical alignment or the, they want to fix the hill on Duff Lane there because it's kind of a steep grade. And so they asked that we designed 3 different versions of a Duff Lane realignment, one with a foot higher, one with a foot lower, and one where, well, I guess we didn't design on, we drew the one where it already is. And just to figure out if they were to take any of those, because there's both an area where the road is cut into the hillside and an area where the road is built up in the valley on that section of Duff Lane. So the owner consented to give extra right-of-way so that whatever the Highway District does, going higher or lower, which they're going to need to do some of both, that there'll be enough public right-of-way there to accommodate whatever road section or however that road section needs to be adjusted in the future. And Canyon Highway is hopeful. They asked us to do that to make sure that can be provided in the future. So as far as the storm drain goes, just as TJ said, we do want to pipe that storm drainage to make sure we don't create concentrate flow and create erosion, but we also, and we agree with that request of that condition that's been recommended by the commission, but we also would like to be able to allow the irrigation to be overland. Right now it's sprinkler irrigated, and so we don't expect a lot. Obviously, if there was a heavy rainstorm, then we'd have some water that would flow through there, so we'll look to accommodate that. And then the last thing I got is, and then we'd be ready for any questions you have for us, is we do have in a condition of approval to secure a National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit. Dan and I talked about that a little bit, and I think from the guidance that was provided by DEQ, they commented on the subdivision. It was a little unclear. So what that would really be is it is pursuant to a national pollutant discharge elimination system permit through the municipal separate storm sewer program that the highway district is responsible for. And so, but our part of that will really be a stormwater pollution prevention plan. Holy acronym, that man, right?
Great.
I love them. I know you guys have heard all those lots because of your service, but that is really what it is that we need to provide is a stormwater pollution prevention plan. And I believe also DEQ asked in their letter, and Dan has recommended, and the commission, Planning and Zoning Commission recommended a dust control plan, and we're happy to do both of those. I just wanted to make a point of clarification there because we won't be creating an actual discharge to water of US that's something different than stormwater, so we didn't want to have confusion there.
Right.
Any questions?
No, good explanation. Really appreciate it. And I didn't know you had a sideline business.
I do, and it's because cheaper by the dozen is a lie.
I'll go with that, yeah.
I have one question for you, and maybe it should have been directed. But was this great where it's in ag ground, was this just a farmer that was ready to sell? Or, I guess I'm just curious because it looks like it's surrounded by, and it predates me as a commissioner, so I was just curious.
I will tell you what I know.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, Commissioner Van Beek, it is, this property was farmed somewhat. What could be farmed of it was kind of included in the property above. The slope area was not productively farmed. And then Mr. Clark, he owns this piece, which kind of bisects that field. And he owns the property on the other side of that natural drainage that was discussed earlier, and he wanted to put this to a better use. So
Okay, thank you.
that's what I know.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Debbie, we did swear you in. Do you have, if you have something to add, please come up and put your name and address on the record.
Thank you. My name is Debbie Hundoble. My address is 10043 Riverbend Place in Middleton. And I live right off Duff Lane, south of Duff Lane, closer to the river on 1 acre in a nice new custom home. And right across Duff off of just north of 44, there's a lot of Corey Barton developments and so forth going approval and annexation. And I support this because I want to continue to see our property values maintained by having these beautiful properties with an acre or two for people to build their, their dream homes and still be in the country. So
how far, I've been trying to read through this, how far are you from city limits of Middleton?
my personal location?
Yeah. Would
Where I live? Oh, this property?
Yes,
1 mile.
1 mile. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming, yeah. So I appreciate this type of development around the area for sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any questions for this?
No, thank you.
No?
Appreciate that.
Thank
comment.
you very much. Okay, I have no one else signed up to speak. If you wish to, now's your chance. No?
Madam Chair, I'll
Okay.
make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
Moved and seconded to close public comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Madam Chair, this is a project that has been in works for quite some time. It obviously has incredibly skilled and expert advisors and engineering type of people involved in it. And I'm just thinking that this is going to be a really wonderful project, and I'm in favor of this, and I'll make the motion that we authorize the board to approve the findings of facts, conclusions of law for the preliminary plat, including irrigation and drainage plan and also to change the name to Meadow Bluff Estate Subdivision from Pintail. Do we need that in there?
Is that, I didn't hear, Dan, is it okay to change it?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Dale, there are also proposed changes to conditions of
Oh, yes,
approval,
okay.
1A and 10.
Yes.
I don't know if you wanted to include those. If you want me to, I can.
Yeah, I understand, understood what those were, and I think they make really, really good sense. The drainage particularly make great sense, and the other one makes just as much sense too. So I would include those changes in that motion.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to
Thanks, Trish.
consider, to sign the findings of facts and conclusions of law and order, and approve the preliminary plat, including the irrigation and drainage plan for, and the name change. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, no one opposed.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just sent the revised FCOs to Monica right now for you to sign with the new conditions,
Okay.
or the revised conditions.
Thank you, Dan. She's going to print them out. Thank you very much. Nothing else? Thank you. Congratulations, and go out and prosper. You know how to do that, right? Hey, on that